All right, hello. So introduction to setting up for our watercolors. Took a piece of white tag board, folded it in half, so I guess they call that hot dog style, the long way, and put tape along two edges, and that is where I'm going to store my paintbrushes. So I have just a small variety of paintbrushes here. I've flagged them just so I know which ones are mine, so if one gets left out or it's left at the sink, it can get returned to you. I have here a small watercolor brush, so it's brand new, so I'm just trying to add some water and to get the coating off of it that it gets shipped with. There we go. Now it's starting to spread out and soften up a little bit. I have a kind of small, medium-ish mop brush, so this will hold a decent amount of water. It's a very soft, fluffy brush, definitely a watercolor brush. This happens to be a size 12. The first one is a size 5. I have an all-purpose brush. This is a size 4 round, so it's going to not be as fluffy. It's going to be a stiffer bristle, good for a little bit more careful control, holding less water, and it's a paintbrush that you could also use with acrylic paints. And the same thing with this, it's just that it's a flat brush rather than round. So I just have my little variety of brushes that I'm going to keep in here when I'm not using them. Today I think I'm going to start off with the two watercolor brushes. As for the materials themselves, one of the things that I like to do if I'm using a palette of dry pigments, rather than adding water to each one and having to go back and forth to the water container, I just take a bottle of water, a spray bottle, and I just give them a quick mist. And now all of the colors are just starting to soften up without getting too much water in each of them. Another option for watercolors are tubes of watercolors. For these, you would need a separate palette for just showing you what they look like consistency-wise. It would, well, maybe not. There we go. It would come out really thick, like a toothpaste. And I would add water pulling off to the side on the palette. And if I wanted to mix it with another color, I could also do that in the palette. But these are going to be highly pigmented. You don't need much color. The last common way to use watercolors is watercolor colored pencils. The ones that I have here are Prismacolor. And with those, you can draw, you can shade, you can build up your pigment, you can go lighter, hide your pencil strokes just the same way you would with colored pencils. You can layer in other colors. And then you can decide how much of that you want to liquefy. And you can add more water and spread those the same way you would the other pigments. Now that these have had a chance to soften up, it's the same thing. I can dip my brush in here. I can paint stronger colors. I can mix them. I can use my lid for mixing colors together, adding water to create washes. And those are the three main types of watercolors: colored pencils, dry pigments, and the small tubes of colors.